In the Onlinehackscan dashboard, we have the capability to perform website security scans. And when you have your listing on orders and you have a series of scans done on infra and web app scans, you'll see the tab website security scan, and you'll see a list of recent scans that you have done. The overview here is the website security scan on the host that you're running, numbers of issues, the detected status, progress. So if we are currently scanning your application, you'll see your progress status right here and when the scan date was completed. So you'll see on the bottom, we have the website security scan on our vulnerable bank, 202 issues, last scan date, January 19th. So when you click through, you'll see an immediate overview of how many issues we've had, and the number of high issues, medium, low, and informational. And what we do is we also list the certainty. How sure are we about the issue that we have detected? So you see high issues, 1 is tentative, means you need to look into that. We have 8 firm and 35 of which we are certain. That's a good overview. We have the similar type of executive summary like we had for the infrastructure scans. And in this case, it holds more information on the certainty level, the completion, how much we have scanned, so you have an idea about the coverage, what we think about the number of issues, and what it is we think you should be doing to fix these types of things. This summary overview also lists the categories that we have. So all the individual issues that we've seen, they're categorized so that you have an idea where your developers, or where you as developer yourself, have to look into fixing stuff more. Like grouping things into stuff for cross-site scripting, into a basic or to more stringent cross-site scripting, which is typically improper neutralization of input. Failure to sanitize specific elements, which is different than cross-site scripting, configuration issues, etc., etc., etc. So that's the summary part. Then we have a tab which we call the risk profile. The risk profile is more on a management level, where we group different types of issues together into the OWASP ASVS. The OWASP is the Open Web Application Security Project. And then it's specifically the application security verification standard, which we're talking about. That's the most recent version of the OWASP scans. We choose to go for the ASVS instead of the top 10 because this is more complete and more holistic in approach. So you see how the classification is done, how many issues we have found in which categories. And on the bottom, we have the risk classification. This is based on how the severity of the issues inside the various categories, rather than how many issues we have found. So you see, for example, that V1 architecture, V5 validation, and V12 score red. But you see that V12 just have a very tiny number of issues. You see there are only 4 issues inside V12, but there are 3 high-risk issues, or 3 informational, and 1 high-risk problem. The reason, because there is that 1 high-risk problem, we chose to have V12 listed as high risk. That's how you can do more risk management. Address the high risks first and not the number of risk. Then for the techies, the technical details, where we have that issue overview table. So we see the type of issue, we see which issue it is we found, categorized, you see how many of these issues are there. You see that browser cross-site scripting, filter misconfigurations, which is a configurational part thing, happens a lot. Content sniffing not enabled. These are configurational type of things. Input reflections might lead to cross-site scripting, but just isn't just yet. Then you have cross-site scripting, etc., etc. And then you have all of the individual issues right there where you can search through. So if you're interested in the issues which we are certain about, then you can just start typing for certain. And if you want to have the certainty level, which are medium or high, for example, you can start searching for that with smart search queries. So in this case, the search query and meets an and query, and the standing bars are the or signs. So now we're looking for everything that has certain and medium or high. So we're listing all of our medium and high issues right here, of which we have a certainty level certain. Let's go for the certain or the high in general. So high means everything which we are sure about. So high and certain will list us all issues which we have a certain level certain about. You can click through on all of the individual levels. So if you click on the cross-site scripting, for example, you get the information that we have available on how we have mimicked that specific problem. So what's the description and remediation and classification if we have that available for you. So in this case, when we have an out-of-band resource load, which is us being able to trigger data from an external website, we'll load that into your environment, which is bad. Basically remote file inclusion in this case. We have the possibility to introduce that in there, and you have the description of what it is that we've done, where we insert it in, and the evidence for that related into the data. So the evidence is for you to replicate the data or to replicate that specific issue. So we have that full GET request in this case, and we have the outcome. And when you load this specific page, it holds this content. So that is evidence for us to demonstrate that we can factually prove this issue being there. On the right side, you have your issues over time. Because we did this scan twice, you see that the issue was there in the first time we did the scan, which was in the week of November 22nd. And it was here when we did our most recent scan. So this is data that you can use over time to see how long this specific issue is already in your environment. Other hosts with the same issue, if there are multiple locations inside the environment that have this specific problem, like cross-site scripting, for example, you'll see over time which of the issues have which of the locations in your environment have the same issue. Really useful information that you can use. You can export this into a CSV file like the previous one we have. You can export this again into a PDF document where you have your own logo. You can choose to have the summary page included, the risk profile included, your technical details included, and the individual issue details included as well. So when you have all of that and you hit the print or the generate report item, the report is generated on the bottom. You have all of that information available, and you can just continue to work and click through what it is you want to look at. That's what we had available for this. Let's wait for the report to be ready. Okay, the report has been generated, and when you go through, you see the same sort of detail as we saw during the last part, where you have that nice report with your logo on top right, with the summary data, everything that we've shown you, nice overview of the issues and the risk profile as selected. So that's what I had for this introduction for this video. I hope you liked it, and please sign up for the Onlinehackscan services. Thank you for watching.